We're about to learn how the pawn captures from E.S. Lowe's Chess in 30 Minutes, pages 45 to 47. Subheading, Capturing in Passing, in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Podcast Miniseries, E.S. Lowe's Chess in 30 Minutes, Study and Practical Application. Read by Jeremy Morrow. Episode 9. Chapter 3, Other Important Rules. Subheading, Capturing in Passing. Page 45. Chess in 30 Minutes. Paperback by E.S. Lowe. Published in January 1st, 1955, 5 out of 5 stars. Barb 1992 said, 5 stars. Good handy book. Reviewed in the United States on May 14, 2014. Verified purchase. Book is in really good condition. Arrived before scheduled time. Member of my family has had it for years. Now I can learn playing chess from my own copy. Clear and simple guide for a beginners. Buy this book on Amazon. Link in the description. Next subheading, Capturing in Passing. Page 45. Now let's turn to another special kind of move. This one involves the pawn. You recall from diagram 14 that the pawn captures ahead one square to the left or right. Unlike all the other chessmen, the pawn does not capture the same way as it moves. The pawn's move, as you have seen, is straight ahead, but the pawn captures one square forward to the right or left. Thus, at the extreme right on diagram 14, white's pawn can capture black's rook. In addition to this orthodox method of capture, the pawn can capture en passant. Spell that out. E-N space P-A-S-S-A-N-T. En passant. Brackets, quote unquote, in passing. In certain situations. To illustrate a capture in passing, we're going to show how it's done by a white pawn. But you will bear in mind that black pawns can also capture in passing. Before we study this method, remember that only a pawn can capture in passing, and that it can only capture a pawn in passing. Diagram 34, black to move. Basic position for capturing in passing. Here we have the diagram here, 34, with the two pawns, the black pawn and the white pawn. Next paragraph, the position of diagram 34 shows us the basic situation for a capture in passing. Moving on to page 46. Next paragraph, the pawn that will ultimately be captured must be on its second quote-unquote rank, as the horizontal rows are called. This role is played by the black pawn in diagram 34. The pawn that is to do the capturing must be on its fifth rank and on a file that is next to the file of the pawn to be captured. You will note in diagram 34 that the pawns are on adjacent files. Brackets, the white pawn is to do the capturing. Next paragraph. Now suppose that in the position of diagram 34, black's pawn advances one square. In that case, white can capture the pawn. A plain case of straight capturing as in diagram 14. However, to illustrate the principle of capturing in passing, let us imagine that the black pawn advances 2 squares. We have diagram 35. Brackets, white to move. Black's pawn has advanced 2 squares. Here we have the example with the black pawn. Next paragraph. In the position of diagram 35, white has the option of capturing the black pawn as if it had advanced 1 square instead of 2. If he makes the capture, we get the position of diagram 36. You see from diagram 36 that capturing in passing leads to the same position that would have resulted from the black pawns advancing only 1 square. Next paragraph, page 47. We have a diagram first we're going to look at. Diagram 36. White has captured in passing. Here we have the last pawn on the board is a white pawn. Next paragraph. Capturing in passing, as has been pointed out, is an option. However, it is an option that must be exercised at once. If you turn down your option of capturing in passing, the opportunity is gone for good. And now for a brief review. This is a 3D chess game representation of diagram 14 on page 25 from the book. From an earlier chapter, we learned about the pawn. This is how the pawn captures before capturing. Unlike all the other chessmen, the pawn does not capture the same way as it moves. The pawn's move, as you have seen, is straight ahead, but the pawn captures one square forward to the right or left. Thus, at the extreme right of diagram 14, white's pawn can capture black's rook. We see the white pawn here on section G3 and the black rook on section H4. Now moving back to our chapter that we've been studying, we're on diagram 34 now. We're reviewing diagram 34, brackets black to move, basic position for capturing in passing. We see the black pawn on section E7 and the white pawn on section F5. The position of diagram 34 shows us the basic situation for a capture in passing. Here we have the black pawn on section E7 and the white pawn on section F5. Diagram 35. White to move. Black's pawn has advanced 2 squares. Here we have the black pawn again on section E5 and the white pawn is on section F5. Diagram 36. White has captured in passing. Here we have the white pawn on section E5 and it has passed the black pawn and captured the black pawn on section E5. Page 47, next subheading, Chess Notation. Hi, this is Jeremy speaking. This has been episode 9 of our ongoing podcast miniseries, E.S. Lowe's Chess in 30 Minutes, Study and Practical Application. I'm your host and the reader of the book, Jeremy Morrow, and we just completed chapter 3, Other Important Rules, and we learned about the subheading, Capturing and Passing on page 45. Make sure to stay subscribed and tune in because episode number 10 is coming, chapter 3, Other Important Rules, and we're going to be studying about the subheading Chess Notation. I encourage you to put on your thinking caps for that one. Even for me, it's going to be kind of tough, kind of complicated, but I'm willing to take up a challenge.